Welcome to Conversations with the Unseen. My name is Andy.
And my name is Laura. And in December 2019, we began an amazing and completely unexpected journey, conversing with beings from the unseen world, which has totally transformed our lives.
And here we are, after hundreds and hundreds of hours of conversations, doing what our non-physical friends have been encouraging us to do, sharing their message with others who may be interested.
So let's dive in.
This episode of Conversations with the Unseen is called The World is Your Mirror. It's an excerpt from a bigger conversation we had with the unseen, and what's shared here really spoke to us, and we wanted to share it with you too, because maybe it will speak to you. On the other side, I'll share a little of what it said to me, but before that, let's hear what our dear friends in the unseen have to say.
Hello, dear friends. Something we notice about the human perspective and the free will that humans have is often a choice to align with something other than peace, energetically. And of course, this is the contrast. The programs of the mind are rooted in fear and a belief in separation, which does not usually result in an experience of feeling peaceful. And yet, it's not accidental that this contrast, the contrasting perspective, the contrasting energies exist in your experience. They serve a purpose. They incentivize the human to search for another way of being in the world of contrast. It feels like the default is the fear, the separation, the judgment. Some would call it darkness, which is often confused with evil. Darkness is merely the absence of light, and anything that the human may judge or experience as evil is merely the absence of love. And so in every moment, there is an opportunity, an invitation to find peace, not in the way that the human would go about it, where the human is saying to the world of form, bring me these conditions, whatever they might be, and then I can feel peaceful. The world of form is not the source of your experience. It is not the source of finding that which you seek. It is a mirror for your energy, as we have said before. The world of form is neutral, as would be a physical mirror that you might look in to see how the physical body looks, how the clothes look, how the hair looks. The mirror makes no judgment, just reflects back what's there. And That doesn't stop there being judgment, of course, but that's in the human, that's not in the mirror. And it's exactly the same with the world of form. That's precisely what the world of form is doing. It's giving you a physical experience of your energy. And the human wants to blame the world of form. It wants to make the world of form responsible for that. And that would be like making the physical mirror responsible for how the hair looks or the clothes look. It's a ridiculous idea. It's just reflecting back what's there. And so if the human has an intention or a desire to feel more peaceful, many humans do, it's a mistake to look to the world of form. Unless you have the awareness of what the world of form is doing. To look at the world of form as a way of understanding and experiencing your own creation, your own energetic creation. And therefore, if you look to the world of form and experience it through the senses with that awareness that it is your creation, it's your energy that the world of form is giving you an experience of, then you can make a different choice, and you can look in a different direction. It's pointless blaming the mirror. It's an invitation to look at your own energy. And of course, this is something that humans typically don't know very much about. And there's somewhere you can go for guidance. There's an infinite perspective. There's an infinite you that is more than happy to guide the human. And in doing so, the human gets to become a more aligned presence in the illusion. The energy that the human brings to the experience of being in the giant simulator means that the experience of the simulator changes. And it's not making the simulator responsible any longer. It's making its own energy the source of its experience. And therefore, there's a reclaiming of power that takes place. There's an ownership that the human can align with and take an ownership for its experience of the world, the way it's creating the world. Not so much at the level of form, but how you experience the world of form, which is neutral. The world of form is energy, just like everything else. And the meaning is what the human is bringing. Judgment, if you like, as well. Liking certain things, disliking certain things. When the inner being would be much more neutral about it and would just see it all as an adventure and would just allow life to unfold, not in a passive way, not just being powerless, quite the reverse. The inner being would see it as its own creation, as it does, and part of the adventure is not knowing what form energies will take. So the inner being knows about the energy that the human is bringing to each moment. And there's an invitation for that to shift over time as the journey continues. The energy within the human system changes, either intentionally and with awareness or not. But change is inevitable for every human. With awareness, you can shift your energy in the direction of that which you desire. And neither the human nor the inner being knows how the world of form will respond to that energy. And so there's a trusting and there's a power in as much that the human and the inner being can be certain that the world of form will serve in this way. It will provide a physical experience of energy. And so all the human need to do is be very consciously aware of its energy and willing to let go and allow the world of form to do what it does, which is to deliver an experience of that energy. And so it's really quite straightforward, as it would seem. It would be if you didn't have an ego. And the ego is the spice in the recipe. It does make the journey into form very interesting because the ego is programmed in the way that it's programmed. Every human is programmed differently. And yet always with that contrasting perspective of fear and separation. And that's not a permanent situation. That perspective, those programs of fear and separation and judgment are changeable. And this is the possibility that exists for the human to discover and align with that perspective of oneness and unconditional love. And that's the journey of becoming. And some would call that an awakening, which can happen progressively over time. Not in a binary, you're not awakened or you are awakened way, but more of a progressive, how much are you awakened in any given moment? Not just moment by moment, but also where are you on your journey? How awakened to the truth of what you really are beyond form and your true nature of love and oneness. How much is that part of your experience? How aware of that are you moment by moment? And to what degree does it empower the human to be free from the chaotic mind with all of its programs that do not align with your true nature and do not even align with itself, because the human mind jumps around so much and sometimes it says yes to something and then it can find reasons to say no, but it still wants to say yes. You recognize that that's the way the mind works, and to see that for what it is, to not identify with that, to just release it, be impacted by it. The mind may always do what the mind does. It doesn't mean that you have to allow that to be in charge. You can take your guidance from your infinite self. And the more you do that, the more free and the more peaceful you will be.
Hello again. So, one of the first things the unseen said to us was about not being tricked by the senses. I remember saying to them, and what will we do after that? I really had no idea. I'm reminded of the Lion King when Rafiki guides Simba to a watering hole and asks him to look in the water. Simba initially sees his own reflection. However, Rafiki instructs Simba to look harder and the reflection distorts and shows something else. And there's been so many moments for me that peace has eluded me, and it's really looked like it was the world of form that was making me lose my peace. And so, like Simba, the invitation has been to look harder. And this is something I've had to practice over and over again. The world of form has no power. There is only the energy I am bringing to this moment. And sometimes that has been something that the human has just said over and over and over again as a mantra, because it has been programmed and conditioned to believe that it's all happening to it. Not that it is generating its own experience by what it's by the energy it's bringing. And so part of this for this human has been about the willingness to own my own creations. And honestly, sometimes that's been really uncomfortable for the human to own what it's created and judged itself for. And there's been many tears shed and much practice of forgiveness in just seeing that this human was just doing the best with what it knew and what was available to it in the moment. But the more I align with my true nature and the more compassion and love that I've been able to bring to something, which from the inner being's perspective is a neutral creation, this compassion has allowed the awareness to come, whereas when I've been judging the human, it's just blocked the awareness completely. And the unseen have this brilliant question. In fact, they have many brilliant questions, but the one that comes to mind in this moment is, what is this reflecting back within the human energy system? What energy am I bringing without realising it? Make it really clear. And I love this question. And I love what I've been shown through this question, and it can bring so much more curiosity to the many moments when the human forgets and is looking at the world of form and thinking, what? It's like, what did I bring to this moment? And I can also see that I used to try and figure out what energy I had to be to get what I wanted from the world of form, which is, that would be manipulation. And so as I let go of ideas of thinking I know how things should be and begin to become more curious about how the world of form will respond to an energy that's been brought, it feels like the game is changing. It feels like it's becoming more of an adventure, and rather than it being a scary, terrifying adventure, it's opening up and becoming more of an exciting adventure. Not all the time, but it's like it's moving in that direction. Deepak Chopra says something that really resonates with me about this. This is from the Book of Secrets. He says, the victim of the five senses and the explorer of the laws of nature are just as creative as someone experiencing pure awareness. The sages, the saints, the shamans, the siddhas, the sorcerers. But they believe in limitations that are self-imposed, and because they do, these limitations turn into reality. The glory of the spiritual journey is the same as its irony. You acquire full power only by realising that you have been using that power all along to thwart yourself. You are potentially the prisoner, the jailer, and the hero who opens up the prison, all rolled into one. And so it feels like it's practicing remembering the world of form has no power. It can only reflect my energy. It cannot give me anything. There is only the energy I am bringing to this moment. And when I forget, which is often, it becomes an invitation to expand the awareness and to learn more about energy and how this game works. And it does feel like reclaiming my power. And that feels so much better than believing it's happening to me. What if it's happening for me?
You've been listening to Conversations with the Unseen.
If you'd like to know when there's a new conversation available, then remember to subscribe and also to share it with others.
If you'd like to have a written transcript of each conversation, then you'll find this on the website conversationswiththeunseen.com.
And if you have a question you'd like us to ask on your behalf, or if you would like to join the mailing list, then you can also do that on the website conversationswiththeunseen.com.
Until next time.